All right, welcome to Good Day Chicago. In our 9 o'clock hour, we have a lot to get to. And of course, we're starting with breaking news, the big talker. The Bears signaling a focus on Hammond, Indiana for their new stadium. Oh boy, would you like that? Would you like that? Okay, crickets in the room. That news just coming out in the past 30 minutes. Indiana lawmakers are now moving fast to make this new vision happen, though. It'd be huge for them.
It would be very huge for all of Northwest Indiana for sure. Well, the Bears have released a statement saying that the passage of Senate Bill 27 would be the most meaningful step forward in stadium planning efforts. They went on to thank Indiana leadership for establishing the Northwest Stadium Authority. They said it's critical in moving forward to deliver a premier venue for all of the key point here, Chicagoland and Bears fans.
I forget, do they own land anywhere else?
Other than Arlington Heights?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That Arlington Heights, they still own that land.
Other than Arlington Heights, yeah. So cue the controversy. We'll be talking about it all day. But let's talk about this weather outside, too, because it's been beautiful all week. But, Mike, well, outside of the dirty rain, it's been beautiful all week.
Yeah,
and where do we go from here?
Hopefully we'll get some clean rain out of this. What I don't want, what I don't think anybody needs, is some of the heavy thunderstorms that may accompany the rainfall. Out there right now, things are quiet. It will not be as sunny as it was yesterday, and it's not going to get quite as warm as it did yesterday, but it's still not bad. 48 degrees, that's already 10 degrees above the normal high. We're only 9 o'clock. We have very little wind out there, but that east component to the wind, you know what that means. We're going to knock temperatures back or hold temperatures down right against the lakefront. Right now it is 45 at the shore, only 30 at Aurora's airport. I mean, it's usually cooler there, but that's kind of outstandingly chilly. 37 at Woodstock, 43 LaSalle, Peru, Gary 48. This area south of I-80 should be warmer, and it would also be, in my opinion, a spot where maybe a stronger thunderstorm could flare up later this afternoon. That said, temperatures now compared with 9 a.m. yesterday are colder by 10 degrees at Waukegan and also Merrillville, and that number at Aurora is a huge drop of 22 degrees difference. Yesterday, remember, we were in the 50s. I think most of Chicagoland has highs in the 50s today. I'm going to go with 55 for the official high at O'Hare, a little cooler at the lakefront where temperatures will actually drop this afternoon. But the main concern is we're going to get some thunderstorms. In short, I say yes. The higher risk of severe thunderstorms showing up in this seldom seen in February this far north enhanced risk area. That's south of Indianapolis, south of Champaign. Chicagoland, it's a level 1 out of 5. Marginal risk, could be some hail, maybe some damaging winds. A lot of us are not going to encounter that, though. This does not look like a widespread severe weather outbreak. 55 for the high today. Be ready. Could be a thunderstorm late this afternoon and tonight. Nita, Brian?
Well, we are following another breaking news story this morning. At least 2 people are dead and another 2 are hurt following a terrible crash this morning on the Bishop Ford.
Saquon is live there to explain what happened.
Hey, good morning to you guys. We are just outside of University of Chicago Hospital, where we know some of the victims of that crash were taken to be treated for their injuries. We know at least one of those victims is said to be in critical condition right now. And according to some preliminary information here from Illinois State Police, just from earlier this morning, we know another victim was taken here with non-life-threatening injuries. I do want to show you some video here of the crash. Again, we have very limited information at this time, but according to Illinois State Police, 2 people were killed and 3 others were hurt and transported to the hospital after a single rollover crash. You can see that SUV kind of flipped over onto its side there. This happened on the Bishop Ford at 111th, just before 2 o'clock this morning. Once again, there's very limited information at this time. I can tell you all lanes in that area are now back open and traffic is moving along just fine. Back here at the hospital, though, we have seen Illinois State Police. We've seen some of their squad cars kind of parked around the hospital area. But with that being said, there are still many questions still left unanswered this morning, including the names of the people who were involved in this crash, as well as their conditions and, of course, what led up to all of this. We do have calls and emails out to police right now, and we'll give you those updates as soon as we get them. Guys.
Say thank you. Such a sad situation. Certainly hoping that the people who are there at the hospital fighting for their lives will be okay, though. Thank you.
Overseas we go. We're hearing from King Charles on the arrest of his brother. The former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is accused of suspicion of misconduct in public office. Andrew had been stripped of royal titles because of his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The king says police have the royal family's full support and the law must take its course. Man accused of killing his wife by throwing her down the stairs of a South Loop condo building is expected to enter a plea in court today.
We have been following this case since the very beginning when that horrible incident took place. Adam Beckerink has been in the Cook County Jail since being extradited from Michigan. And yes, we even went to Michigan for this story. That's where he was serving time for separate domestic violence charges. He has been formally charged with first-degree murder in the death of his wife, Caitlin Tracy, for what happened in the South Loop. Prosecutors say that he threw Tracy down the stairs from the 24th floor. I think her family is expected to be here, and they have been through it over the last 2 years. We now have the schedule for services to honor civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Next Wednesday, the 25th of February, Reverend Jackson will lie in state at the Rainbow Push Coalition from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and again on Thursday, the 26th, from 10 until 6 p.m. Then on Friday, the 27th, a People's Celebration will be held at the House of Hope. That is at 752 East 114th Street in Chicago. The service is from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And then on Saturday, the 28th, homegoing services will be held at Rainbow Push Coalition. That is at 930 East 50th Street. That service will be from 10 until 5 p.m.
Governor J.B. Pritzker presented his $56 billion budget during the Illinois State of the State address. The theme of the address was affordability. In the budget, he's proposing to temporarily pause tax credits on building new data centers. The pause is to address the rise in energy demands and rising electric bills. Illinois Republicans appear to be skeptical about the plan.
My goal is delivering at least 2 gigawatts of new clean nuclear capacity in our state, enough to power up to 2 million Illinois homes.
At a time when other states are competing aggressively for investment, this is what we listen to today. Illinois doesn't have a revenue problem. Illinois has a spending problem, and Illinois has a priorities problem.
Well, Governor Pritzker is also proposing a new tax on social media companies. We're going to have to circle the horn for all those folks again today now with Indiana and the Bears conversation.
State lawmakers are considering a proposal to lower the legal alcohol limit. Right now, you can drive if your blood alcohol concentration is below 0.08. The new bill would change that limit to 0.05. Standard blood alcohol charts recommend that people under 140 pounds can hit that after 1 drink. It takes about 2 drinks for people who weigh more than 160. Currently, Utah is the only other state with that lower limit.
Wow. It's low, but hey, if you keep people safe, all right. 9:08, everybody, as we give you a live look outside at the sun shining on the bean. How long do we have for the sunshine?
A few more hours before the storms and snow hit.
Hold on, savor this right now. We'll be right back.
Donald.
All new Mondays on Fox.
All right, conversation about the Bears so big we had to call in the big dogs, okay? The Indiana House Ways and Means Committee just advanced this bill to create a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority by a 24-0 vote. They are all in on this, yeah. So it will be a major step in luring the Bears across the state line.
Let's bring in Fox Sports' Cassie Carlson to dive into the details. What are you hearing so far about the Bears potentially moving across state lines this morning?
Yeah, well, this seems like the most momentum that Indiana has had towards moving the Bears to what now seems to be Hammond, about 18 miles from where Soldier Field is right now. And, you know, the Illinois Senate, Illinois was supposed to have this meeting this morning to discuss how to do this mega projects bill, and they canceled it this morning. And there was kind of a deadline put out a couple weeks ago about just moving forward, as the Bears were hoping to get more tax certainty from the state of Illinois to commit to building in Arlington, and they just haven't been able to do that. And this comes 3 years almost to the day that they purchased the land at Arlington Heights, and it just seemed like the clock was ticking and there wasn't much movement coming from the state to get help on that. And now Indiana is saying that they are opening the door for business. Governor Mike Braun released a statement that they're open for business and their pro-growth environment continues to attract major opportunities like this partnership with the Chicago Bears, and they've identified a site near Wolf Lake in Hammond and established a broad framework for negotiating a final deal. And so this seems like just the most movement towards the Bears to Indiana, and the Bears released a statement saying the passage of Senate Bill 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We are committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. And we appreciate the leadership shown by Governor Braun, Speaker Hudson, Senator Mishler, and members of the Indiana General Assembly in establishing this critical framework and path forward to deliver a premier venue for all of Chicagoland and destination for Bears fans and visitors from across the globe. So, you know, we've gotten a lot of statements from the Bears in the past. And I think this one just seems the most serious, as they are highly considering Indiana. And I think every other time we've heard statements released or seen them, we've wondered if it's been leveraged to try to get Illinois to move a little bit faster. But saying that they would commit $2 billion towards this project, this seems the most intentional so far.
Yeah, Cassie, you know, when we talk about the Bears or even Illinois not moving much, Governor J.B. Pritzker just said yesterday there has been some progress. So are we thinking, okay, it's not a done deal yet. What do you think the chances are Arlington Heights could still be their home in the end?
I'm hesitant to say anything is official until we truly do see shovels in the ground at any site. I think you think of historically the way the Bears operate. They are they work off of legacy. And George Halas and Virginia McCaskey, who have both since passed, made it clear that their vision was one day that the Bears would be at Arlington Park. And George McCaskey, I think, feels the weight of that. And they were the ones that purchased this land, 326 acres. There's not many locations that are sufficient enough to build a world-class stadium. And I think it was important for them to stay in Illinois. And now it just seems like they haven't been able to get the tax certainty that they've been pushing for a couple of years now. And I think you're sensing the frustration and that they need movement. You know, there was a statement released at one point where they said that they would be hosting in 2031. That was the goal. And the reality is that's now 5 years away. And that's not that far away in terms of these major construction projects. I'm a little bit hesitant to say that they are for sure going to go to Indiana just because of the sports side and knowing the legacy and knowing the importance of that to this McCaskey family. I would be hesitant to say this is totally final, but this does seem like the biggest push that the Bears could be going to Indiana.
Cassie, what about the logistics side of this? We were mapping out where the Bears practice is way up north in Lake Forest. Where they would be playing is an hour and a minute away without traffic. How would that impact just the way that the Bears are even preparing for their own home games?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. You know, I live in the city. I am up at Halas Hall in Lake Forest for practice throughout the Bears season almost every day. It takes me 2 hours to get from Lake Forest to the Loop. And you're adding another 18, 20 miles. most of these players, most of the coaches, they don't live in the city. They live up on the North Shore and the north suburbs. That could be a 2.5, 3-hour hike through rush hour. I think that, these players, these coaches, they work on a very strict schedule, and I think that's something you have to account for. Fans, my belief is fans, when this is all said and done, like, they will drive anywhere. It's similar to what we just saw with them increasing the season ticket packages for 13.5% average this year. Like, in my opinion, that's the cost of winning. It happens every year. Fans want to go. They want to see their team. They want to support their team. They're going to drive anywhere. But for the players and coaches, I think it makes a huge difference. And that's a long trip to make from Lake Forest to Hammond. And I think that's something that this team would have to account for because time is valuable in the NFL. Coaches don't see their families. Players are hardly home because of the travel, the work, the hours that they put in. And that just adds a lot more to their plate.
Yeah, and then here's the thing. It's bigger than just the games themselves. Whatever this move is, reconfiguring the actual building that you have brings in so many other opportunities for the team.
Yeah, I think one thing that people were excited about when the original thought of going to Arlington Park was having this world-class stadium, a domed stadium, that would provide opportunities to host other events like the Final Four, Super Bowls, concerts, and I think that could all still be in play. But I think it's the infrastructure and availability for things around it, hotels, restaurants, and that will all be built up in Hammond, but it's just not the same, I don't think, as if you're staying in Cook County and the train line is already there. Like, to me, Arlington Park was ready-made for the Bears to do that. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to, so far, find the means to get there with the financial implications that they are trying to get settled in order for it to make financial sense for the Bears. And so I think that's another thing that, I'm sure they have a plan. The Bears, it has to make sense for both sides. And the Bears, they said they would contribute $2 billion towards the project in Hammond. That's a lot of money. And I don't know what they're thinking, I guess. It just is interesting to me that the Indiana Bears, like, is it really going to become that?
It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, right?
Well, I think folks there in Indiana, again, they put the emphasis on they are still Chicagoland,
yeah.
So keep calling them Chicago Bears, but to make that trip down to Hammond, I guess that's how they look at it. And it would be a huge win for them.
It's definitely would. And one more question for you, Cassie. When it comes down to making this final decision, is this strictly a Kevin Warren ownership decision, or does head coach Ben Johnson maybe have some say in where the Bears end up calling home for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, this is going to be all Kevin Warren, George McCaskey, Ben Johnson. I think, sometimes players and coaches, they get stadium questions randomly, and they're like, yeah, I don't care. To them, they're going to play where they play. I mean, the reality is a lot of them aren't even going to be on the team anymore when this is finalized, and so it doesn't matter to them. I think that if it were to be in Hammond, they might have some gripes with the travel to get there. But Ben Johnson, no, I would say not involved in any of these discussions.
Okay, well, the discussion will continue for sure. Thank you so much for waking up early. Well, listen, I know you were listening to the legislative process just like we were, but thank you so much for joining us this early. We know you have a long day.
All right, thank you, Cassie.
See you in a bit.
Okay.
All right, let's toss it over to Mike.
All right, very interesting developments there. Pause Chicago is all about saving the lives of at-risk pets, and this morning they are inviting you to be a part of that mission. Paige Kruger, we're always happy to have her here. She's joining us this morning to talk about their foster program. Good morning, Paige. We'll talk about foster in just a little bit, but first, who's our little friend here this morning?
This is Eli. He is a 4-month-old puppy.
Okay.
We know that he loves playing with other dogs, is a very big cuddler, and is a little bit on the shy side. So
He is, you can tell. He's bashful.
Is. So he will need to just build a little bit of confidence.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
But he is as sweet as they come. So if you are interested in adopting him, you can stop by the Pause Chicago Lincoln Park Adoption Center.
All right, and we're guessing terrier mix, which is kind of the coverall for...
It's a broad, yeah.
I'm not sure who was in on that one, but yes, Eli, we're going to find a home for you for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit about the foster program. program, and I have always said, Paige, that the people who do this, who are willing to open up their homes, bring in a dog or a cat, whatever it happens to be, let them live with them, take care of them, and then
return them.
That takes a special, I think, personality, and is something to really, kind of celebrate those people that do that. How important is the foster program for what you guys do at PAWS?
It's hugely impactful. It really helps us increase our capacity to take in more pets. In 2025, PAWS Chicago placed 2,200 pets into foster homes.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it really makes a big difference. But PAWS Chicago will work with you with the type of pet that fits your lifestyle and the amount of time you can keep them in your home. So it can be for as short as a weekend or as long as a few months. But again, they'll match you with the type of pet that fits your home and your lifestyle, your work schedule, and they'll provide you with everything you need too, including food. And I'm a foster parent. Last year, one of my favorite fosters was a litter of 3 kittens. They were in my home just to gain weight until they were healthy enough to receive spay and neuter surgeries. And so it's so fun to have that energy in your home. But at the same time, sometimes fosters just need socialization so that they're used to being in a home. So often we have pets that just need to build confidence before getting adopted. And also there's medical fosters. So pets that either need to be in a home leading up to or immediately after surgery. Exactly. So they have a safe place to get well before they're adopted.
Does somebody who might be interested in fostering, do they need any special training from you before they bring in a dog or a cat?
No, not at all. There is an application, and of course you do need to prove that you're able to have a foster pet in your home. We provide all the information you need to make sure if you have any resident pets that they are safe as well. So there is a separation period, but we have all that information on our website at pawschicago.org/foster.
Because you only have so much room there at your shelter. It's big, but you're always looking, hey, we want more animals, and so if we have some people that'll let them into our homes, it expands your ability for outreach.
Absolutely, yes. It makes a very big difference. And a room as small as your bathroom, keeping a door closed is all they really need.
Eli wants a bigger room, though. Yes, you would like to go play somewhere. All right, not everybody might be interested in fostering. There are obviously other ways that folks can help out. What do you recommend here? Obviously, some cash would come in.
Of course, donations always help. We do have a wish list as well. So we have a wish list with Amazon, Chewy, and Walmart, and every item on the wish list is listed in order of need. So if you're not able to foster, you can still ship items directly to the shelter, and that'll support our foster and adoption programs.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, items like wet dog food for pups like this is often high on that list.
Okay. Toys and things?
Toys, towels, wet cat food, litter. We need all of that to support our foster program. And that's on our website, pawschicago.org/wishlist.
All right, so you're going to keep us posted on Eli.
Yes.
Eli, I'm sure, somebody's going to want to take you home. You are just such a chill doggy right here.
He is.
Paige, thank you for coming in here. Hopefully some folks may have seen this and say, let's open up our home and bring in a foster animal. Well, we're going to contact PAWS and make that happen. All right, there is the information on how you can help foster. Oh, those are adorable. Oh, my gosh. Paige, Eli, thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with more of Good Day Chicago. Bye. Good morning.
responsible for the content of this ad.
Okay, everyone, it's about 9:27. All right, so of course we are in the midst of Black History Month. We celebrate what's coming up next. Women's History Month. We're going to celebrate some more. And so that makes our next guest that much more special, right at the intersection of the two. So think about this. The Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, the Obama Presidential Center that will be here in Chicago in June opening up. All of these projects and so many more have this one woman in common. McKissick & McKissick owner and founder, Daryl McKissick. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Wonderful to have you here. I mean, to have this Black woman-owned company, McKissick & McKissick, it's a family legacy for you.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I believe that we've been building legacy space. I've been building it for 35 years, and so have my ancestors. And, you know, what that means is we've built spaces that outlive us, and they tell the truth of who we are.
That's a big statement, and you're getting ready to receive a massive honor. Explain to us what it is and what that means to you.
Yes, I'm winning the Titan 100 Award, and what it means to me is that I started a company with $1,000 OK business plan, and now I'm managing $15 billion of construction across the country. And so accepting an award alongside of Chicago's top CEOs lets me know that I'm no longer mom and pop, but I have arrived.
Oh my goodness, you know, everybody heard that and they're like, how did you do that? Now I know you can't take us through all of the years, but give us a window into how you turn $1,000 into this empire that you have now.
Well, like I said, I had an okay business plan, so I had to have a lot of passion. And what passion does for you is it gives you the perseverance to keep going, regardless of what's in front of you. And so I had the skill, which I worked very hard on. You know, oftentimes our young people want to jump out here and do things, and what I tell them is skill erases doubt. Not other people's doubt, but your doubt, because it's your identity that makes the difference in how you're going to excel in anything that you do.
Yeah.
And I believe in building permanence. Like, I want my contribution to not be temporary. I literally want it to be in concrete, steel, and stone.
You have done that over and over again. And I think, you know, especially for young girls, we speak so much about like STEAM opportunities for young girls in particular. And to see you in construction, you know, architecture, engineering, these things that we want to see more young women aspire to. How do you speak to them to inspire them?
Well, they definitely need to be themselves. Don't try to be a man. Be the woman that you are, because our essence is an answer to a question that they may have never had, because we're bringing another perspective. I believe in people's unique abilities and why they were put here on the earth, and that's because they have a perspective that's going to help us solve problems and issues. And so I'm more than a project manager. I am a steward of history, opportunity, and access for the next generation.
I could sit here and talk to you all day. I know they're going to tell me wrap at some point in time, but I'm going to get all I can out of you while I have you here in this seat. So give us a little window behind the Obama Presidential Center, because we're so excited for it to open in June. What was your vision there, and how did it feel to be a part of something like this? I mean, you've been a part of, you know, again, I mentioned some of the other incredible historic projects you've been on, but for Chicago, this is it.
Yes, and with each of the memorials and monuments I'm on, I feel like, you know, we are, like I said, telling the truth. So we are changing the paradigm of people, how people think, because we're educating people on these particular great men, whether it's Barack Obama or the Lincoln and Jefferson Memorial or Martin Luther King. And what I've seen is that people, you know, go to these places to gather, reminisce, and talk about history. We were the project managers that helped the Obama Presidential Center from conception through to construction, through the design process. And I would have to say it was just an honor to be a part of that. The architects had an amazing vision, and of course the Obamas, it came from their real vision of what they felt that it should be. So, you know, our role was just to make sure that was carried out.
Daryl McKissick of McKissick & McKissick, thank you so much for your contributions to really across the country to so many things that we will remember in concrete forever. And congratulations again on the Titan 100 Award.
Oh, thank you.
9:32, everyone, and we're moving forward from here.
And I think in Indiana we do three things exceptionally well, and we should invest in those things. We grow things well, we make things well, and we host people very well. This is that third. This is a transformational investment into something we do better than any other state in the country. And if you talk to people in this industry, they will tell you we are the best state in the country for hosting people.
The Indiana House Ways and Means Committee just advanced a bill to create a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority by an overwhelming 24-0 vote, which would be a major step in luring the Bears across state lines.
Do you want to be the one vote that goes against that there, right? All right, let's bring in our very own Tia Ewing. I know, Tia, you have been following this saga very, very closely. You know, everything is leaning towards Indiana today, but this deal is not fully inked in stone here, is it?
No, it's not fully inked in stone. And in fact, a lot of people believe this is a play really for the Bears to really buy some time here with the state of Illinois. A lot of people feel like, obviously, Illinois is still in motion here. You got to remember that the Bears still have the Arlington Heights site. Of course, we have our stadium here right in downtown Chicago, too. What will happen with that? But in terms of Indiana, what we can say is that they really have moved pretty quickly on this. This was something that we haven't heard a lot about just a few months, and now here we are with at least the state advancing this potential bill, which will go to the main floor, and it will be decided from that point on, which means it could become law. In terms of this, this is really interesting because a lot of people were questioning, saying, well, listen, the Bears have money. Why can't they pay for their own stadium? And in this case, we're hearing that the Bears are apparently prepared to put up about $2 billion to build their own stadium in Hammond, Indiana. And really the question here is, what does that mean for Hammond, Indiana? You know, when you think of Hammond, Indiana, you think of, you know, a very quaint, almost like sleepy town there. There are some businesses, and I would imagine that those businesses see the same customers. It's not a place that attracts a lot of new people coming through. But this could be a great play for Northwest Indiana. Of course, we know in terms of Indiana, they've already constructed a stadium before, and that's Lucas Oil Stadium. That opened in 2008 in the heart of Indianapolis for the Colts. And so, yeah, there's a lot of questions here. I don't think this is a done deal yet, but it does bring up a lot of questions in terms of, you know, what does the state of Illinois have to do to play ball? And also another question that has to be asked, if the Bears leave our state, the state of Illinois, where, you know, we're used to seeing the Chicago Bears play, what does that mean for residents of Illinois? What does that mean for the tax base? What does that mean for restaurants, the hotel industry? All of that will have an impact if this does move forward. And I think it's something that we cannot forget about in all of this. So is it a done deal? No, I don't think it's an official done deal. I think Indiana is making all the right moves to become even more attractive for the Chicago Bears.
And Tia, you spent some time with the mayor of Gary, who was making their own pitch for the Bears to build a stadium there in Gary. Now, what we're hearing is that this stadium would move forward in Hammond. Do you think there would be any offsets or any benefits for the city of Gary, given how close it is to Hammond, if the Bears end up moving there?
I think the one incentive that Gary has, which is very interesting, I'm happy you brought that up, over Hammond is, let's go back. So both places have issues in terms of infrastructure. And what I mean by that is roads, that type of thing. Some of that will have to be ironed out, traffic lights. But one thing that Gary has over Hammond is there's the infrastructure already that exists for air support, right? You already have the private airstrip there where people fly in and out there all the time. That we know that that's conducive for major sports teams. That's conducive for some of these people that will be coming to see the games. You may have people that are calling the games that would like to fly private. That's a perfect place to land. Gary's also trying to make sure that they get, it's already done. You saw that in the story that I did about being able to basically support the demand for consumers, everyday people that would like to come into Gary, Indiana. They're trying to attract airlines to that particular airport. It's done, but that part of it hasn't happened. I did get a chance to text a little bit back and forth with the mayor this morning to see if he had a statement on this. I also called the Mayor Hammond, too. Haven't heard back from him. His phone is obviously busy right now. Went straight to voicemail. But the mayor, Gary, did say that he would have a statement on this. And I do think there is room. Maybe, obviously, Gary would not be the site for this because they're talking about the site being in Hammond near Wolf Lake, which, you know, there will be questions about the water there, how this will be done, what will have to be put in motion for that site to actually come to fruition. But one thing that I do know is that Gary has the air support, which is needed. You may not want to go all the way to Chicago, right, and fly and then have to then get on a bus to come all the way to Hammond, Indiana. So I think that there's room for Gary to have a play in all of this, but I really think this is a wake-up for Hammond, Indiana. I was looking this morning out of curiosity just to see, like, in terms of, like, prices of homes there. This is an affordable place. I looked up just randomly. There was a completely renovated home there, 6 bedrooms. I think it was like 3 or 4 baths. We're talking $350,000. You can't find that anywhere.
Yeah, I bet the property tax bill's a little bit lower there, too, Tia. We have Sky Fox right now flying, Tia. I'm not sure if you're able to watch from your location, but Sky Fox is on the way to Hammond. And as I'm looking at this take place, I think this would be how a lot of players would have to get to that new
From Lake Forest to Hammond.
From Lake Forest to Hammond. You're talking about reaction. I know you're seeking input there from the governor, from the mayor of Gary, and from Hammond. But we did just get a tweet from the Indiana Governor, Mike Braun, and here's what he has to say about the bill. Quoting, Indiana is open for business, and our pro-growth environment continues to attract major opportunities like this partnership with the Chicago Bears. We have built a strong relationship with the Bears organization that will serve as the foundation for a public-private partnership. I mean, this is just a blaring green light from Indiana to come to Indiana, Tia.
It is, and I think if Illinois wants to be included in this, there are some folks that need to go back to the drawing board. I mean, if we still want to be a viable player, no pun intended, we got to go back to the drawing board or, yeah, we're going to lose a major sports team, which is a major blow to a city like Chicago. That's something that cannot be forgotten in this conversation. I mean, how would that look? That the city of Chicago, and this is no shade to Hammond, Indiana. Northwest Indiana is an amazing place, but they already have a team in Indiana. How would that look for the city of Chicago, one of the greatest cities, major metropolitan cities in the world, to now not have an NFL team? It's just something to think about, and it's something that the lawmakers may have to now go into session themselves to figure this part of it out.
And you mentioned the lawmakers here in Illinois. Tia, there was supposed to be a meeting today where lawmakers were going to negotiate some potential tax breaks for the Bears to finally go to Arlington Heights. That meeting was canceled this morning. So what's the next step for Illinois lawmakers, that is?
Yeah, that's the big question. I don't know. I don't have that answer. But I do think, considering this breaking news that we have right now, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. I know that meeting was canceled. I'm happy you brought that up. But I think that at this point, this juncture now, I'm guessing people are talking on the phone now, and they're going to get in a boardroom somewhere to try to figure all of this out. Because as of right now, I don't know. This doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for the state of Illinois. Of course, it's a round of applause, a win for Indiana.
Sure.
At least on paper, no matter if the Bears come or not, they paved the way for another sports team. If it's not the Bears, by doing this, they've paved the way and created the framework for another sports team to obviously move into Northwest Indiana. That's a huge void for the state of Illinois. I mean, it would be. And the fallout from that, I don't even know how you could recover from the fallout of the Chicago Bears leaving the city of Chicago, I'm being honest, and the state of Illinois.
Something we may find out very soon.
Here's one thing I'm pretty confident of. They're going to be playing at Soldier Field next season.
Yes,
I think
We know
sure.
that.
Yeah, we know. We know that. All right, Tia, thanks for joining us here this morning. We know you're going to follow up, and I'm sure that the mayor is going to call you back once he gets done going through about 400 voicemails that he's got there. All right, we're going to be back with more of Good Day as you see Sky Fox flying over what could be the new home of the Chicago Bears.
Local.
She's decorated cakes and cookies for iconic artists and athletes all across Chicago. And now Emily Najad from Bon Vivant Cakes is joining us live this morning to tell us more. I love the vibrant display that you got there. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
So I know you're saying that some of these cake making classes are for beginners, but if somebody has no baking experience, where should they start?
You should start by going to my website, bonvivantcakes.com, and booking a class, because beginners, people with zero cake decorating experience, are actually my specialty. So we have so many classes that appeal to people who are interested in cake decorating. Maybe you are on Instagram, on TikTok, scrolling through all of these delicious treats, but you don't know where to get started. So at Bon Vivant, we do 6 cake and cookie decorating classes per week. We also have happy hours if you just sort of want to dip your toe in, and we have kids classes as well.
Emily, walk us through some of the cakes that you have right there in front of you. They look like works of art, like almost like you don't even want to cut into these.
Thank you. So these are some of our new cake and cookie decorating classes for spring. Obviously, my personal favorite here is our Silly Goose cake, a very fun, very festive little goose on top of this cake. But if cookies are more your thing, we also have these very cool, sort of avant-garde royal icing cookies. So we've got a lot of cool texture in here, and I know that these feel really complicated and maybe a little bit intimidating, but you just haven't had a good instructor yet. So we walk you through all the techniques that you need, and we're there every step of the way, giving you guidance, steering you in the right direction so that you walk out with a beautiful work of art.
When you have these cakes and cookies, where are you drawing your own inspiration from?
That is a great question. So we're kind of pulling inspiration from current cake and cookie decorating trends. So you see something like this is a reflection of a current trend, a beautiful watercolor cake. And also it's sometimes with these things, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's nothing more classic than a beautifully decorated cake with buttercream flowers. So this is a new spring floral buttercream class that walks you through beginning piping techniques for buttercream flowers. So you have some beautiful rosettes, some drop flowers, and I couldn't resist throwing in this little squiggle tip in here, which all of the cool cake girls watching right now will recognize that this is really on trend for spring.
That is definitely a lot of bright colors there. What kind of private events do you do, and just how big of groups are we talking here?
So we do private events in our studio for groups of 16 or less, but if you work in an office downtown and you want to spice up your coworker happy hour situation, we can also come to you with some cookies, some royal icing, and basically really upgrade your team building outing. So we can do groups up to 80, 100 people.
And obviously the kiddies are a little bit too young for the happy hour crowd. What kind of kids events do you offer as well?
So we do kids classes for kids 8 and up, and it's kids, it is an adult that comes with them. We have a really fun, very cute new cake for spring. I'm calling this one the bug out cake for now. So we have some really cool little creepy crawly gummies in here. We have some cute little mushrooms. These are actually chocolate covered rocks, and then some edible wafer paper butterflies on here. And everything in this cake is edible. So this is a really fun outing for your kids, or if you're like me and you are trying to secure the spot of being the favorite aunt, this is really the way to win a kid's heart.
I'm sure it is. Emily, thanks so much for your time, and we're going to have to come check you out. Bon Vivant Cakes. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, time's now 9:50. We'll be right back on Good Day Chicago.
Thomas Fisher, and I approve this ad.
Well, sometimes, a lot of times, you just need to blow off some steam.
And sometimes it is fun to pretend you're the Hulk.
Yeah, turn green or maybe red in this sense. Jake is letting go of some stress over at Breaking Point in Chicago Heights. I've got a feeling that glass is about to go bye-bye.
Let's see.
That's right, guys. Some days you're just feeling like you gotta just let it out, right? You know, you don't want to keep things bottled in. You want to express your feelings, but sometimes your feelings need to be expressed in maybe just a little bit of a way to kind of something. It's a little cheap therapy, and you can just get a good swing and really get everything out. And that's exactly what we're doing out here in Chicago Heights. It is Breaking Point Rage Room. Come on out of here. We're going to go talk with the woman behind it. This is Melody, managing partner. Melody, come on over. You know, you and I have been hanging out all morning long, and what I love is, and I'm going to put this word out there, positivity. Because you say it's called the Rage Room, but it's not about aggression. It's not about negativity. It's about expressing how you're feeling in a positive way. Explain that.
It's kind of like letting it out.
Yes.
So most times when people come here, they have experienced some things in life.
Everybody's got a thing.
But when they leave here, they leave out feeling lighter. They leave out leaving everything that was bottled up here behind. And there's also people who come and break stuff just because it's fun.
It is fun. And you know what? That's what I was telling you. I've never done this before up to today. And whenever I came out here a while back and I took that first swing, the first thing I did was smile.
Yeah.
Because there's this physical feeling.
Yeah.
And I was a little surprised. Were you surprised the first time you took a swing?
Yeah, because it actually just made me feel better. It didn't make me feel angry. It didn't make me feel anxious. When I first broke something, it made me just feel better.
Yeah. And you know what? Something I really want to drive home is you guys do this in a very safe way.
Yes.
Everybody with your helmets on, with your protection. In fact, I went in there before with nothing, and you said, you got to put something on. You got to put something on. Safety a priority out here.
Safety is absolutely a priority.
But what do you want people to know, for someone that's never come out here before, how do you describe it?
I describe it as cathartic. I describe it as something you can do that's fun with your entire family. We've had people here from 5 to 95. Very family-based, very family and community focused. So I would suggest you come out and session and have fun.
Birthday parties, bachelorette
birthday parties, yes, divorce parties. We have everything you can think of, and we also have a stage where you can do karaoke.
I love it. Karaoke,
like
game room.
Yeah.
Melody, we're running out of time. How can people come out and find you guys?
Well, we're out located in Chicago Heights, Illinois, but you can also book on www.breakingpointrageroom.com. And I did want to bring in my partner.
Yes,
he helped me put all this together.
It's an amazing job. We've been hanging out all morning long. You guys are crushing it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. It is Breaking Point Rage Room as we're ready to talk to Breaking Place. Let out how it is you're feeling. That note, we're going to talk. We will